Hi everyone, this is Alexander Zeitlin, and this is the Lockdown Lecture Series for Intermediate Cello, adapted from the Alias Music Foundations course and adapted for the classroom setting. Let's jump into Lesson 3. So, last time we were working on our first movement of the album for the young here, and we had learned the A sections with quality work, and we had the homework of learning the B sections with some accuracy work. So I'm going to play through the B sections, and if you guys can keep up with me pretty easily, that means you've done your homework. So here we go. So if you can keep up pretty easily, that probably means you're 100% on your homework and are ready to move on to quality work. And you can start doing that this week. Start working on vibrato for your B sections, working on your sound, your intonation, your movement, and see what you can work on. Your A sections should have nice vibrato going now. You should have some movement. Should kind of be finding the right sound. Let's take a moment and play through the A sections together. So hopefully you've all been playing around with the color of your vibrato and getting it open on every note and using your vibrato conditioning exercise to get your vibrato going. All right, today I wanted to talk a little bit about our last step in our sort of learning our material system, and that is our shaping work. This is a really good piece to take a look at for that. So once we've really kind of worked on our accuracy and quality, we start to take a look at, well, what makes the piece special? You know, how can we make it sort of convey the significance of the piece? And if you remember, if you've listened to the original recording, the narrated version, you remember in the story our main character is dreaming and he hears bells and he's floating over shimmering water, and you can actually hear like the shimmering water in the piano part. All these are beautiful soaring melodies. Every phrase is like a swooping motion. So they really reflect like what's going on in the story. And you can see there's some dynamics, but we can add to that a little bit, sort of create some special moments, just like we heard in the reference recording. So here might be a nice place for some what's known as a hairpin crescendo. I'll blow it up so you can see it a little better. So kind of louder and then softer. Still kind of still in mezzo piano, so medium loud. Then we get softer. We have a big crescendo, like all the way to forte. And it stays loud with these kind of dark and chromatic harmonies here in the A3 section. But it starts to taper off a little bit at the end. And then the A4 section, it's calmer and diminuendos even more to the end. And it's sort of like a false ending. It gets suddenly agitated. We have an agitato marking here, so our vibrato will get more intense. And we even want it to move faster. To change the tempo is a very powerful expressive element. It'll get softer towards the end. We'll slow it down a little bit. And here on the on the B2 section, it repeats the A4 section. It's like recalling, our theme from the beginning. And it's the last time we get to hear it in all of these movements. It doesn't come back again. So there's a little bit nostalgic. So we're going to really hold on to the end of this phrase, almost like we're sad to part from every note. And it will diminuendo even more. So I'll play along. You guys can play along with me, or maybe if it's your first time, it's better to just listen, but I'll kind of talk through the dynamics. The important part when we're taking these special moments and trying to make expressive special things is to exaggerate them. As a performer, as a young performer especially, you'll find that you're doing crescendo, and you are, but I might also, because I know you're supposed to do a crescendo right there, but your audience might not. It might be too subtle. So I really do highly recommend exaggerating all of these expressive elements when you're practicing. And so here we go. I will kind of talk through them as I play them. So I'm starting with sort of a mezzo piano, soft but gentle, healthy sound. Crescendo, diminuendo, soft. Big crescendo. Stay loud. So when you work on it at home, see what you can do with it. And if you want to experiment with more or less time, bigger or smaller crescendos, you should. So let's talk a little bit about if you've worked on all that, you've gotten some feedback, and now it's just time to review. How can you effectively review all this? So we talked a little bit last time about if you're reviewing your accuracy, these are really the two important steps to review. Just check, make sure you can still play it with metronome, and make sure you still have it memorized. If you're doing quality work and you've done all of your quality steps and you feel like they've all improved, what I recommend doing is just doing kind of like 3 passes for quality. Just play through it 3 times, listen the first one, and objectively ask yourself, what can I improve? Is it my intonation? Is that my new weakest link? Maybe if my intonation got better, maybe now it's my vibrato again. Maybe I haven't really worked on my movement enough. But within those 3 repetitions, you'll find that over time, you will improve all of them. It's not going to improve overnight. I mean, if you wanted to, work on it like 30 times, you might make a huge improvement in one day, but then, you're taking away your time that you have to practice new things. It's not going to take 6 months either. If you practice regularly, you'll just see an improvement after a few weeks. Your quality will get better. So essentially, once you've learned all of it, you should be playing through the whole movement, once with metronome, once by memory, and then maybe just 3 times and picking what to work on for quality. Now your next bit of homework will be to do the accuracy work for the next 2 movements. So I'll mark off sections. So here's our A1 section, and these two movements go together. It goes till here. The A2 section goes till here. The A3 section starts here. Let's call this the B1 section. It's a new movement. We'll just call it a new section. These movements go straight from one to the next. They don't stop. And then here's our B2 section right here. So learn your notes. Make sure you got all of your accidentals and are missing any sharps. Add your rhythm and bowings. Be careful. There are some tricky bowings here. Turn on your metronome. Make sure you have it with metronome. A good tempo for this movement is quarter equals 80. And you may want to start slower. You may want to start at like 50 or 60, but that's a good working tempo is 80. Full tempo is faster, but a quarter equals 80 is good. And if you're really confident with it, you can start memorizing it also. That's it for lesson 3. See you all next time at lesson 4.